Your business runs on revenue, but sometimes managing the full revenue process can run you down. Salesforce helps you maximize revenue without slowing down. Let's learn how one CFO is using Agentforce Revenue Management, formerly Revenue Cloud, to scale revenue while maintaining controls. Carrie Chow, joined by Andrew Korn, CFO of Elise AI. First of all, Andrew, thank you for joining us here on Salesforce Plus.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me, Carrie.
So tell us, for those in our audience, what does Elise AI do? But also, more importantly, what were some of the business priorities that you were looking to address that led you to Salesforce?
Thank you. Elise AI is one of the largest vertical focus AI companies in the world. We provide AI enterprise-grade regulatory compliance solutions to two industries of fundamental human need, healthcare and housing. And we provide those customers, those enterprise customers we serve, with tools that enable them to leverage AI to automate critical business functions while providing tremendous experiences to the millions of consumers that rely on our housing and healthcare systems every day. We've been proud Salesforce customers for over 5 years now. When we first came to Salesforce, the challenge we had to solve was that we're dealing with these enterprise contracts, but we are serving thousands, now tens of thousands of individual buildings. And so each individual building that we serve for those enterprise customers on the housing side requires us to contract separately, provision separately, think about separately how we invoice and build them. And for now over 5 years, Salesforce has been instrumental in building the system that's enabled us to do that.
Yeah, let's talk about going to this next level, because the high volume sales paradox of scaling these large and complex deals that you just mentioned, but you still want to maintain control over unique contracts and so forth. So how did Salesforce help address some of those challenges?
Yeah, so from the beginning, it was really unique in its ability to address that challenge, enabling us to have this custom object that recognizes each community, each building, and enable us to manage that individually all the way straight through, from the sales process to contracting to invoicing. That really just exploded, that complexity exploded by literal order of magnitude when we became a multi-product company. So now you just don't have these individual buildings, but you have multiple products at each individual building. And so now today we have over 100,000 individual product assets at the tens of thousands of buildings that we serve. And when that problem began to emerge, that's when we reached to Agentforce Revenue, and that's when we deployed it to help us scale to that next level and solve the added complexity that came with those multiple products.
I didn't realize those numbers, because that is truly complex when you're looking. I mean, if you're just looking at a piece of paper and you're dealing with so many different items, you're just like, wow. And now to see that agentic technology to try or just the scaling process, it can truly make a huge difference on that day-to-day. How has Agentforce Revenue Management, and formerly Revenue Cloud, changed your day-to-day experience as a CFO?
Yes. You know, it really is daunting sometimes, as you said. We are an enterprise company, but sometimes our sales process feels like an SMB motion sales process, and we're really proud of that. To your question, the number one thing I could say is that it hasn't changed my day-to-day at all, and that's a good thing, right? We've been doubling as a company the last 5 years. This will be our fifth year in a row. That's 32x compounded in 5 years. I don't spend 32x more time on process than I did. I don't have 32x more the technology. I don't have 32x more the people. I'm able to manage an increasingly complex business without adding all of that bloat, and still have my fingers on the pulse of the business, and that's what Salesforce Revenue has enabled me, and Agentforce Revenue has enabled me to do. It's really been vital in that. It provides me with real-time reporting, visibility. I'm able to take a contract all the way through the sales cycle, deliver to the customer what I need to deliver, and then be able to book and recognize that ARR and bill that customer the same day, providing the visibility to my CEO, to my board, to my shareholders that I need to provide them in real time, and that's vital.
32x is huge. I mean, a lot of times when you're looking at these from an organization, you want to grow, and this is the greatest problem to have, right? But then it is still, how do I manage all of that, the size of that, the magnitude of that? This kind of leads to my next question, because as Chief Financial Officer, as a business leader, you cannot afford to make split decisions on these massive platform updates that are going to affect entire enterprises, right? So what were some of the biggest factors in your decision-making process that led you to roll out Agentforce Revenue Management?
Yeah, so I will start with the fact that we surveyed the market broadly.
Yeah.
And we did not find another solution out there that could solve this problem for us, period, full stop. And that's not to say that Salesforce won by default, because I would not have done that if it was not the right thing to do for my business. But seeing that after that deep investigation, and working with the Salesforce team to understand in detail the processes and workflows it can enable gave me a ton of confidence. Doing really just deep demos with the product and your team was tremendous. I'd highlight two other factors. Great partner ecosystem and partner network. Our friends at Full Press partnered with us on the implementation, and our Salesforce team, they were really vital in helping us get this done. And then Salesforce managing this open ecosystem that enables us to work with other technology providers like Ironclad on the contracting side, or like Subscript on the invoicing side, knowing that Salesforce would slot seamlessly into that ecosystem that we built, just as it always has, not tipping over the apple cart while we were trying to solve this one problem, was really vital and important to me in giving me the confidence to do this.
That smooth process is so valuable. On the flip side of the coin of the question I just asked, but like, as a business decision maker, what would have been at stake if you didn't make this huge digital transformation?
I mean, I don't want to be melodramatic or self-important, but the success of the business is at stake. We're trying to double every year. We're trying to do great things. We've been successful in doing that. It's my job as CFO to keep the business momentum up, to keep the processes behind the scenes up, to not encumber the rest of the business. So if I wasn't able to do this, I wouldn't be able to sign contracts quickly and effectively. I wouldn't be able to invoice it quickly and effectively. I wouldn't be able to collect revenue and billing invoice quickly and effectively. And that is vital to the business at its core. So this was super mission critical.
I love that. I have one last quick question. Like, what kind of advice would you give? You're a trailblazer. Elise AI is leading the space here when it comes to digital transformation. What advice would you give to an organization who's considering doing this, but who hasn't started?
Yeah, I wouldn't take it lightly. I would think really deeply about what are the critical factors that you need to achieve in order to drive the success of your business. Is this specific problem critical for you? It was for us, and we made that careful determination. And if you're going to do that, and you decide that it is critical, look for the partner that has the proven track record of being able to deliver on this in the past, and we had great confidence that Salesforce would be able to do that.
Proven track record, Salesforce. I love it. Thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us and for sharing your insights on how Elise AI is using Salesforce to drive efficiency and scale sales.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
To learn more about Agentforce revenue management, be sure to scan the QR code on your screen.